That again. Hey!
Oh dear.
Right. Okay. So we figured out everything that was going on.
Yes.
And you now join us on live stream number 2. This is brilliant because I'll get to do the same things 3 times now. Thank you, Ian. This is brilliant. Hello, welcome to the live stream. And sorry for all the technical difficulties. So Ian joined us from Raduno, and as he vacated the room to go and continue enjoying his lunch, he managed to hit end stream, which means that you all got the end, and so did we. So I talked for a bit to nobody until it became obvious that no one was there. Then we created the new stream, and then I forgot to set that live. So we talked for a little bit more to no one. And anyway, Ian's here to say sorry. There we go. Write out 4 million times, I must not interfere with the live stream. So anyway, so to start from the top again. So in the studio today, we've got 2 Flyer Club members. We've got Russ Pinder and Colin Wilkinson. Russ and Colin flew in from Finmere in an RV7 and a Foxbat, and they collected mugs number 3 and 4. Obviously, if you're a Fly Club member, you can fly in and fly into Wadswick, where we've got the studio on a Wednesday. Come and see us, collect your mugs, and do as Colin and Russ are doing, and watching the chaos that is live stream extra. They came here for the production values and absolutely found 0. So Nick Allen, was drink involved? I think you can guarantee. Yeah. So things we can tell you. So a live stream. So just recapping on things I told nobody earlier. On the live stream tomorrow night, we're joined by Paul Dye. Paul I'm lucky to call Paul a friend, but he is also he has over 40 years of aviation experience as an engineer, builder, and pilot, and retired from NASA in 2013 as the longest serving flight director in US history. Paul's written a book, Shuttle Houston, and it's all about the high stakes work at Mission Control, and all about the story of the shuttle program, which I think everyone loves. So it'll be great to hear more about that. Clearly, lots of scope for asking questions. He's also a multi-time home builder, former editor of Kit Planes. He's built an RV3, an RV8, a subsonics jet, and is currently working on an F1 rocket. So so lots. That's going to be. I'm really looking forward to seeing Paul. I know Johnny was here earlier for the planning meeting, and Johnny's like a NASA geek. He's like, I've got loads of questions. So
yeah.
Oh, I like this. This is good. Julian Treadmill says you can relive Ian's moment of panic on the other link. I think that deserves to be a YouTube short, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I'm really looking forward to...
So can we buy a mug? Not Ian. So So news-wise, Dave, what's been news so far this week?
Right. Well, there's a couple of stories around this week. First of all, Charles Strasser, the creator of the Strasser scheme for AOPA. This is where he persuaded airfields to accept emergency or precautionary landings with not having to pay a landing fee. That's been very successful, and it's helped a lot of people. Charles when I was reading up a bit about Charles, he's had an incredible life. He was born in around about 1920. I think it was 1927. I haven't got an exact date here, but 1927 in Czechoslovakia, what was Czechoslovakia, came to the UK in 1938, just before World War II broke out, obviously with his parents. And by the end of World War II, he was involved in the war effort with the Czech forces based in the UK. There was a Czech army unit that was part of the British Army, and he was a dispatch rider. And we found this fabulous photograph of Charles, aged 18, on a BSA dispatch bike. But he had a great career. He bought himself a Piper Seneca
Yeah.
because he ran a business that, where he had to travel around the country, and flying helped him travel around the country. Retired to Jersey, where he was a very active member of
And I think,
AOPA and a lot of other things as well.
yeah, and I think the Strata scheme was pretty much every UK airport, wasn't it? Nearly. It was a rarity to find someone who hadn't signed up to it.
Yeah, and it's actually still active. It's on the AOPA UK website, still there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Charles died at a good age, 97. So pretty good. Apparently, he was flying till he was 93. Which is,
Blimey. And
yeah.
it's not easy. The people I know who have reached the golden age of 90 and beyond, it's pretty challenging to find insurance at that stage. So
Yes.
yeah, you're really committed to it if you're making that much effort at that point. So no, very impressive.
The other story of the week is just before I say the name, if you had an aircraft company, an OEM, with a factory, with intellectual property to build an aircraft, you designed it yourselves and developed it, and it was selling, it was certified for international sales.
And you had loads of customers, maybe?
And you had loads of customers already. If this came up for sale, what do you think it might cost?
Oh, it'd be hundreds of millions of pounds.
Hundreds of millions of pounds. Well, actually, it's 15 million, 12 million quid, $15 million. And it's Icon Aircraft, which is going through the bankruptcy court at the moment with $170 million worth of debt. Obviously, when you buy the assets, you're not getting the debt, you're just buying the assets. And they've just sold for $15 million. That seems incredible.
That's bonkers, isn't it? I think that's still got to be approved, doesn't it?
It has to be approved by the court, but since the bid was pretty much the only one, the stalking horse bidder, it's pretty much guaranteed to happen. There's a route, as you can imagine, with so much money at stake, or not at stake because it's disappeared. There's a bit of a row about the whole thing, and some of the early investors and the people who were behind the aircraft right at the beginning are accusing the people who ended up being the main shareholders of a bit of foul play. I don't really want to go into any more than that because I'm sure there's some libel involved somewhere.
That's a deep dive into very, very murky waters.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. But it seems like an incredible deal, though, to buy all that.
We've heard it said many times in the past, and there's been so many companies that have faced bankruptcy in the world of certified and home built aviation. Especially if you're starting out with a new product, invariably it's like, well, you need to start out, get the product done, and then quite often a company falls over and it's only version 2 of that company. Do they enter anywhere where they can actually start selling something profitably? And doesn't necessarily make it right, but it does seem to be something that happens in aviation, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. I have to say that the Icon A5 did end up at a pretty crazy price for a 2-seat aircraft.
Originally, it was going to be 120 grand or something when they first came out with it.
Yeah, that was probably unrealistic from the beginning, but
you think,
but it's ended up near $500,000, which is
crazy. Crazy. So, as Paul Fraser Benison says, how to get a small fortune in aviation: start with a large one. So, So, other things coming up. There's a great story online that you posted yesterday, which is from a British pilot, isn't it?
That's Mike Wood.
Yeah.
That's Mike Wood, who we've got. Actually, it came from the fact that Mike produced a video, quite nicely produced video of a false landing he had to make in his mini sport SD1.
SD1, little SSDR.
Yep, and basically he had engine failure, and not a lot of options in terms of fields because he was not very high and he was over a bit of high ground. He picked a field, but as he was going into the field, everything seemed to be reasonably okay, except then he noticed some wires
Yeah.
not the big thick pylons, just the sort of low level ones. Hopped over those, and as he touched down, he realised the wind was behind him, and also he was on a downslope, and he produced this still from the video shot from a wingtip camera of him about a metre from the hedge at the edge of the airfield.
Yeah.
And he actually went through the hedge. He was very lucky because in the middle of the hedge was a lot of barbed wire, and this little mini sport was open cockpit. Fortunately, he had a helmet on, and the barbed wire slid across the top of his helmet. If he hadn't been wearing the helmet, as he says, he would have been scalped. He wasn't hurt.
No.
The aircraft was wrecked, however.
Yeah, but he's flying. So he's flying again. He's got a little Calibri while he ponders what else he does. I think the video coming out coincided with the AIB publishing the report on his accident, wasn't it? So
yes, yeah.
But yeah, no, it's lots of learning things. I think all of us worry about the day when maybe the engine stops, and it's a real test, isn't it? If that happens to you. And it's easy for people to sit there and go, oh, I know exactly what I would do. You go, yeah, that's all great until you're surprised by it, until it's that whole startle thing. And so many people, it's like, ugh. So.
Yeah, particularly in that case, because he didn't really have many options. So he's lucky to get away with that one, I think.
Yeah.
What else we talk is we also mentioned the landing fees for July.
Oh yes, yeah.
We have a yeah. You go ahead.
No, that's all right. Yeah, so coming up, so obviously this at the moment in June, you've got Bodmin, Brighton, Peterborough, Sibson, and Causeway over in Ireland. But July, Annabelle finished sorting those out yesterday, and they're a fantastic selection. You've got Compton Abbas. That's first time for them in ages. Damon's Hall, Kitty Hawk, East Kirby, and Fishburn. So, and we were saying that would be quite a good mix, wouldn't it, for to try and do all of them in a day. I know we've had someone did all the Scottish ones a couple of months ago. Yeah, if you fancy a challenge, why not do all the July landing fees? Because the weather's going to be great. Surely summer's definitely going to be here and locked in by then, isn't it?
It is. So, it is. And in fact, David Eads has popped in at a very opportune moment to remind us that it's the Easter summer flying this weekend.
Fantastic.
And the weather looks good.
The weather looks good, and it's Scotland, so there's even more daylight. It's like the longest day plus Scotland. So
yes, yeah.
You can't get any more daylight than that. So, yeah. So, fantastic.
Yep. Well, I don't know about you, Ed, but after all the stress of all this, rushing around trying to relaunch things,
I'm coming up short today. So,
yeah.
So I think I'm going to round things up by saying join us tomorrow for regular live stream 7:30. Don't forget, join us for Paul Dye. Bring your fancy hanger choices, which will be anything from the NASA inventory, So Michael Pear says late to the party. Good morning. Are you somewhere where it's morning, Michael? So fancy hanger, Dan Smith. Had we not covered that? Maybe we did that when it wasn't live. Fancy hanger is anything from the NASA inventory, because we got Paul Dye with us, who's spent his career with NASA. We're picking anything from the NASA fleet, so that gives you a pretty wide choice from space planes, a whole bunch of X aeroplanes as well. So if you fancy an X1 and doing your Chuck Yeager bits, breaking the sound barrier, then that's your choice. Maybe X15 if you fancy doing whatever it was, Mach 7. So good stuff. Oh, but that's why it's morning for Michael. He's in Vancouver. Very nice. Michael, no, XL5. That was a Jerry Anderson thing. And on that note, Dave, thanks for joining us. Russ and Colin, thanks for flying in. They're waving again. And we will see you tomorrow night at 7:30. Thanks for bearing with us during the Ian chaos. We'll get him back in the studio and we will birch him next week. Thanks very much, guys, and see you soon. Bye.